Hello everyone, I'm back again here in Starborne Frontiers. I'm Corrode. I hope you all liked the last video. I thought I'd make another one because I recently beat the infamous Deadbeat. Anyone who plays the game will know he's infamous, and he's towards the later stages of the Abyss. A couple of other fights I also found difficult and I had to figure things out with to get through them. Was the last stage of the campaign in Brutal mode, so 10-7 in Brutal. And the third stage of the first planetary system in Nightmare mode, 1-3 in Nightmare. Now, I have done not a lot, but some minor upgrades to my ships since I did Brutal 10-7. I thought I'll start with that, because I'll probably beat that the easiest, and then we'll go straight to Deadbeat, which is probably what people are here interested in, and then I'll show Nightmare 1-3. Alright, so the campaign in Brutal mode, which is the second hardest mode, with Nightmare being the last. I have gotten through Brutal, I am up to Nightmare just barely. So let's go into the 10th stage in Brutal, Forge of Heaven. Let's hit up, this is the 7th stage in here, Eradication of Death itself. Let's head in. Alright, let's have a look at what we're up against here. We've got a Ripper at the back who is going to hit everyone in this row, and that's why I've only got one person in this row. This is also one of the times I've had luck with getting a lot of good healers. I have some great tanks too, but I do sometimes find I can just use my healers as tanks and just use multiple healers and out-heal things. So what have we got? Ripper hitting the front, of course, and putting incoming repair down and dot damage up. So then we've got a Yazid, who I recently got Yazid, who's a great tank, but it's not really the concern in this fight. Now, we've got two Manglers here. Mangler is only a rare. His active skill only puts on Bomb 1, it doesn't put on Bomb 2, and Charge only puts on Bomb 2, not Bomb 3, and his direct damage is not that good. But it still bombs, and we know bombs can be very, very nasty. When it's some legendary throwing bombs on you, it can get really bad. But from what I remember when I originally did this fight, it's actually this antimatter healer who just seemed way too awesome and unkillable, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and because they put stasis on for 2 turns and that kind of thing. Alright, so anyway, up against, what do we got? So we're hitting the front here. Now, when I first did this, when I first came in here before, I had Palace and Volk back here, but I don't quite know why, because Volk's only getting hit by one of the Manglers. I'll probably just keep the bombs off Volk, but I've got Volk pretty high health now, and it's only Mangler, and by putting Volk forward here, it means that Volk is going to put all his awesome buffs on someone I got recently, which is Ruiner. Ruiner is very useful for dealing mainly with healers. Incoming repair comes down for everyone. Like, you get him hitting the healer and the people around him. Incoming repair down. Chuck on Inferno. Outgoing repair down. Again, like I said, you want him hitting a healer because he'll mess the healer up. And this is pretty important. When an enemy does a repair, he puts Bomb 2 on them. So he really is very much a healer killer. Other than that, what do we got? So I got Macaulay here. So as I said, I don't have a tank. I've got DPSs tanking DPSs. I've got Macaulay healing them. Macaulay does do cleanse. I've got Macaulay tanking Ripper and also Yazid. But Macaulay is kind of a good healer / tank, because Macaulay does stuff with defense. Like, Macaulay cleanses a debuff, heals a bit, but then heals 100% of his defense. So unlike the other healers where I've focused a lot more on health, with Macaulay I've focused a lot on defense. He's only got 17k HP. You'll see some of my other healers have close to 30 or 25k and up. What else we got? We, of course, have our boy Butcher here, who is going to use his good affinity and kill this Mangler. And then we've, as I already said about Ruiner doing his thing. And, of course, Palace, despite the bad affinity against Chemical, Palace will be doing her thing. And when it comes time to kill these people, Palace will be key. Let's get on with the fight. As I said, I don't think this fight's going to be that close. Well, hey, there's bombs on Ruiner and Volk right now. They're only bomb 1s, but we do need those bomber DPS Mangler or whatever it is dead, or people will die. Let's see how we go. Okay, we've now got multiple bombs on Volk. I'm getting worried about Volk. I have got Volk to refit too, so Volk does heal himself now. I think I had Volk to refit too when I first did this fight. It might be why I put Volk back and didn't put the buffs on Ruiner to make sure Volk didn't get the bombs. But Volk is now going to survive those bombs now that he's got refit too. He's healing himself. What's going on? What's going on down here with Butcher? Okay, yep, Butcher got healed and got the bomb cleansed by Macaulay. Tell you what, Butcher's not getting like a lot in the way of crits or anything. Come on, Butcher, kill. There we go. And Butcher's just got that bomb cleansed. And it's game over now. So it looked reasonably easy, but you'll see with those bombs, if I didn't have... if Macaulay's cleansers weren't there, if Volk didn't have the big health, it was much more dangerous when I first did it. But now these units have been upgraded a bit, and they'll be fine. And now there's just going to be... See, that healer, as you see, they last pretty well, but my units are upgraded. I'll talk about Palace's upgrades. The main unit I've got that I upgraded since doing this and other things is Palace. As you see, that healer's still not dead. Like, that healer doesn't die that easily. Anti-meta healer. I am sure my DPS will finally kill it though. So as you can see, I'm doing fine now, but that healer caused me big problems when I first did this, before these upgrades to ships. Just wouldn't die and kept keeping people alive. I think it just wouldn't die was my big problem with it. I just couldn't end the fight. But clearly now I can. Yazid is a very powerful tank. As I was saying, I recently got Yazid. Due to recently getting Yazid, I could just manage to beat Deadbeat, which you're going to see next. That's how good Yazid is. It's the thing that made me beat Deadbeat. And you'll see Yazid right here is taking ages to die, which is why Yazid's great. Because Yazid, if you got Yazid on refit 2, which I immediately used epic refit stuff to do him. Alright, there you go with this fight. Now we'll get on to the more interesting fights. We'll go straight to Deadbeat now. And we will then look at Nightmare 1-3 and what we got with our damage. You can see there's a good damage spread across my DPS. In fact, Ruiner was king even over Palace here. That's probably because of affinity stuff, and Butcher did his thing. Alright, Deadbeat time. Let's get into the Abyss. The last stage of the Abyss. Entropy. Last section. So in the first depth, in depth 16, the boss of depth 16 is Deadbeat. Deadbeat causes a lot of people a fair bit of trouble, and he caused me a fair bit of trouble. I don't know if I'm going to have to record this maybe a few times, because I'm pretty sure, even though I have some upgrades to units since I first did it, I am absolutely not confident that I'll kill this every time. I'll tell the truth, the first time I killed Deadbeat, it turned out that Yazid was actually the last person left alive and had low health, and Yazid did the last hit on Deadbeat, and Yazid had like 5% health left. So I'm not confident that I will beat this every time, but let's see how we go, and let's have a look at what the fight is. So Deadbeat is super nasty. Deadbeat is a nasty antimatter boss who does a bunch of damage to any, so hits the person with the highest current health, does damage to them, and inflicts bomb on the bomb 2. Sorry, that's his active. Yeah, bomb 2 from his active. So none of this bomb 1 stuff from active, straight to bomb 2. With the charge, even more damage, and does bomb 2 on them from 2 turns. And all enemies with buffs or debuffs that were not damaged from the first ability are inflicted with stasis. So Deadbeat is real nasty, and I don't even know where exactly... So the boss gains stealth, and inflicts Inferno 3 for 2 turns when applying a debuff. Yeah, that's why Deadbeat is really horrible. But so he gets stealth for 2 turns at the start of the round. So that means that you're not going to hit him. You have to kill all of these other people before you're even going to start hitting Deadbeat. So what I've got here basically is I need people to tank Deadbeat's bombs and like live long enough for these DPS to do their job, which they first have to kill all of this lot down here, and then have to kill Deadbeat. So, you know, let's see how we go. And if I'm going to kill... So I should talk more about it. So here's Yazid. He's great. He's going to be helping tank Deadbeat. Now, this down here is Salvation, sitting down here by herself, healing no one. And that is literally just Salvation being a secondary... So, if Deadbeat gets low health, then Deadbeat's going to use his nasty moves on my DPS, and they'll die. So I can't have that. If Yazid happens to be low health at some point, then Salvation's job is to instead take the nastiness and the bombs instead of Yazid, and for these two to just manage to last long enough for the DPS to do their thing, where, as I said first time, Yazid actually finished the job. So my DPS, Deadbeat is antimatter, so it doesn't matter his affinity. You know, down here we have electric and thermal, a variety of things. So it's just my 3 best DPS. You've just got Palace up here, and you've got, of course, Butcher up here, and Wisteria is my next best DPS, and a chemical DPS. I don't know if I'd consider her overall quite as good as Butcher and Palace, but she's next in line. All right, let's start the fight and see how we go. Alright, so what we're looking for is for Yazid's security to manage to not get bombs. There you go. He did not get a bomb put on by Deadbeat at the start. That's good. My DPS doing alright. Alright, so you'll see there, because Yazid's health was a bit low, instead the boss threw bombs on, hit and threw bombs on Salvation. Like, she's literally there to make sure that doesn't happen to the DPS. Yeah, she's now got 2 bombs on her. She will end up dying. I think my DPS maybe would have been better if they took those enemies out a bit faster. But Yazid still got his B-res thing, and he didn't get a bomb put on again. Yeah, that's hopefully going to be good enough. Yazid still has this thing where the first time he dies, he'll come back to life. And I've got him on refit 2. Because I have him on refit 2, he'll come back with 60% of his health or whatever it is. And those DPS now. Yeah, so he's back. And those DPS need to get some crits and finish this job. Oh, yes. I think we got it. We got it. There you go. I still managed to lose Palace. I've still got, what, Butcher at almost no health. Yazid's going to die. There you go. I still lost all ships except 2, so it's still a fight that is pretty hardcore. Anyway, you know, that's how I got through Deadbeat. I'm sure there's other strategies, but that's what I use with the ships I have. So I didn't even use any of my legendaries. It's all these epics, and they're all at level 50, no level 60s. And, you know, only the 1-star victory, but still a victory. Anyway, let's go on to Nightmare 1-3. Alright, recently got to Nightmare. First planetary system, Gamish colony. I managed to get through the first 2 using highly defensive setups. I've been lucky with healers and to some extent tanks. Feeling like a bit less lucky with DPS, or maybe I just need to gear them more or better or something. Anyway, let's hit up 1-3 Nightmare. What was it? Stay in your lane? Is that what this one's called? Alright, so that's right. You see there's no tank here and there's 4 healers. This is my, hello, meet all my awesome healers. Like I was just saying, I've done alright with healers. I've got Salvation, I've got Macaulay, I've got Volk, and Shelter. Although Salvation's kind of a replacement, you've still got the affinity difference. And my Shelter's still rolling, like nearly 30k health. So, what do we got here? This is the nasty one, is this Ravager Legendary, which is throwing down big damage to this pattern, throwing Inferno 2 on. Again, you know, more good direct damage, extra damage for each debuff on the enemy, which that's nasty, and Inferno 3. And of course, getting stronger and stronger all the time with Overload. And what Overload's getting Marauder 3. Here's that bug I told Dev, Rux, and the others about, where you can't see what things do sometimes. Anyway, you got the devs, you should fix that. This unit's debuff is, if the debuff's resisted, hacking Overload, Overdrive. Anyway, point is, it's very nasty. Let's hope Shelter can make it through. So down here, what have we got? So we got a torture and a torture. They're, you know, dot classes, but it is just the rare torture. Not that powerful, but still going to be adding a fair bit of damage. Look, Opal is a tank. You know, that's not really the concern of the fight. Shelter is back here doing heals, you know, so she's got to get wiped out reasonably quick. Well, that's why, you know, Palace is first taken out, this torture at the bottom, and then it's going to be going for Shelter and Ripper, because they need to go, because Shelter's healing and Ripper's an epic. Ripper's doing, you know, incoming repair down, bigger damage, dot damage up, all that nasty stuff. And you know, that's helping add. Well, this boss, I've not got them hitting Salvation. Anyway, that's probably enough talking. I've got Salvation. It's just massive heals, and have, you know, Volk just putting the buffs on Palace, and these 4 healers healing through everything. I tried with tanks. I wish if I had a better thermal tank. I don't have like an awesome thermal tank. I've got Redeemer, who he's a great tank. He's for a rare especially, he's quite good with his passive, where the second he's under 60%, he puts up defense up 3, which I'd love to show you what it is, but I think it's plus 65% defense or something crazy like that. But defense isn't what you need against Inferno. Inferno goes straight through defense and shields. So I instead went with this healer setup, because Shelter, of course, has big health, and that helps more against Inferno than defense. Anyway, let's do it. So what we need here, very much so, is for Palace, who I recently may have mentioned before. I changed her gear a bit to give her... I sacrificed a little bit of attack to get her quite a bit more crit rate. We just got to... So long as Palace can roll out the crits, once Volk charges, he'll put crit up on Palace. But we really want Palace critting as much as she can. She doesn't have to crit then, just to kill it in 2 goes. But we do want more crits. She has 43% base crit rate now. So, you know, once Volk gets that buff on her, should be all good. Yeah, see, no crit on Shelter there. We really want the next hit to crit. So Volk will do his charged buffs now. Oh, that was still crit power up, was it? Yeah, Shelter should already be dead by now. We really haven't had enough damage out of Palace, I think, to win this. Now this crit's rolling out. It's good. But if Macaulay and Shelter can just cope a bit, which they're not doing so well, and Volk, of course, just helped heal Shelter a bunch. Yeah, Macaulay's gone. Shelter needs to do some big crit heals now, if we're going to manage. Oh, gigantic crit from Palace. That's going to be it. We're going to make it because of that last huge crit. That was all Volk's buffs on Palace, every single one of them. I think even Palace puts a buff on herself if those crit heals going out. So there we go. As you can see, it's still, like with Deadbeat for me, this Nightmare 1-3 is right down to the line. But was victorious, so that is one way. Oh, I meant to show the stats. Oh well. That is one way to do it when you're barely there. I hope everyone liked watching these videos. I'm sure I'll make another one soon.